It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 12th Annual Art Speaks. We are very pleased to have this continued partnership. It started under the director of Mr. Russell Etling, who is our previous Cultural Affairs Manager, who went on to retire and now hanging out at the beach. It's been a partnership that the city of Gainesville has wanted to nurture and continue to nurture not only adult poets, but as well as youth. So we invite you to please come around. If you like it, please share it on Facebook. And also, normally, whenever we have Art Speaks, we have a gallery opening. Our gallery is closed for renovations, but we do have the work of the late sculptural Jesse Aaron upstairs in our mezzanine, so we invite you for that. And also to please go to 352 Arts and the City of Gainesville's Facebook website. You'll have cultural affairs programming. We offer now 6 different dances. You can take West Indies, you can do drumming, you can do folk, you can do Irish. We are also just now added on arts and medicine programs. That's going to be at our Oakview, where you'll be able to take mosaics, you'll be able to do visual art. So we're really trying to up it up to give more experiences to our neighbors. And I will say that everything that we do is free to participate. So if you have ideas, we welcome those. I'm upstairs in room 203. My office is available anytime you need to come and talk to us. But for today, thank you so much for the poets for sharing your wonderful work. Thank you, E. Stanley Richardson, for working tirelessly to bring this program back to the Thomas Center. And we hope you have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Whew. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? It's good to see all of your beautiful faces here today. Thank you so much for joining us for our 12th Annual Art Speaks, bringing poetry and people together. A little bit of background about Art Speaks. We started this 12 years ago. When I started to realize, and someone told me that I was an artist, because I had no idea that what I was doing was actually art. It was just a guy that likes to write stuff. And someone told me that I should share my stuff with the community, and what I was doing was artistry, and that I was an artist. And I'm like, whoa, that's weird, kind of. You know, being a country boy from Alachua, I knew I could be a lot of things, but no one ever told me I could be an artist. So once I embraced that and said, okay, I am an artist, this lady held my hand and had me stand in front of the mirror and say, I am an artist. So I went out through the community and started finding other human beings like myself. So I went out into the greater Gainesville community looking for other artists, other poets, going to different open mics, meeting new people. And then I ended up at the Civic Media Center. And I met some folks there who embraced me and put me in touch with other artists, other poets. And I noticed that we were all operating in our own little silos. And I had this idea, would it be a great thing to get everybody together out of their own little cliques and silos under one roof for a celebration of the human voice through poetry, spoken word, and storytelling. And that's how Art Speaks started. I approached the city. Russell Etling was the cultural affairs manager then. He was a little bit apprehensive. I know that's a good idea, but we'll give it a shot. So, but now it's one of their, signature programs. They look forward to it. So thank you all again for being here. It wouldn't be anything without you and all the poets and storytellers who share their voice with us, share their expression with us, going on 12 years now. So Rhea handed out some little handouts there, and I'm not really good at this, but I'm going to do this because ArtSpeaks is a really small organization. You're looking at ArtSpeaks, pretty much. Real small, but we're mighty. We host, we produce, how many programs now? This program, ArtSpeaks, bringing poetry and people together. We have another program called ArtSpeaks, Courageous Young Voices. Is our teen poetry program for teens. It normally happens in the spring, early March. We have our Youth Poet Laureate program, which is anybody saw President Biden's inauguration how many years ago, 2020? The young lady, Amanda Gorman, shared a poem. Well, she was our very first Youth Poet Laureate for the United States. And that's the program that we brought here to our area. It's the Alachua County, North Central Florida Youth Poet Laureate Program. So we partnered with the organization, the national organization, to bring those programs here because there may be an Amanda Gorman here in our community, or in Levy County or Gilchrist County or one of these other small or surrounding rural counties in North Central Florida. So I'm passionate about youth who grow up, who live in rural communities. I grew up in a rural community out in Alachua, so I'm really passionate about providing access to young people who live in rural communities. We have the North Central Florida, the Bard and Broadside North Central Florida Poetry Festival. Coming up, it'll be our third year. We want to establish this community as a hub for literary artists. So we're establishing a poetry festival. Our first year, we had John Murillo, who came down from Connecticut. He's a professor in Connecticut. He teaches creative writing at Wesleyan College. He was our first featured poet. Last April, we had Natalie Graham, who actually grew up here in Gainesville, from Gainesville. She was the inaugural poet laureate for Orange County, California. She's the associate dean at Cal State Fullerton, and we had her come back to do a workshop, free community workshop. Here, we centered it around her coming back home. It was homecoming. That was the theme. Moving forward, 2025, we'll have our third poetry festival. After 2025, we're going to have it biannual. We just want to establish it. But in December, Alachua County is going to be celebrating their bicentennial. So our theme will be Happy Birthday, Alachua County. So that will be our theme moving forward. So Alachua County is going to be celebrating their bicentennial all of 2025. The actual date, Dr. Gordon, is December 7th. Okay, December 7th. So Alachua County turns 200 years old. So we'll be celebrating the bicentennial all year with poetry events, some workshops, some text and image workshops. One of the things that I want to do is get community members to bring photographs, archived photographs, historical photographs that you may have. We also will get with the museum, the Matheson, maybe Smathers Library to get some archival photographs, and we will have a workshop centered around creating poetry centered around those photographs. So I'll let you know. Please subscribe to ArtSpeaks so you'll be up to date on everything we're doing. Right now, we have a little box. I'm going to pass around a little box. Where's that little box? Oh, here it is. This is a little donation box. And so Jenna Nishida made this box a couple of years ago. So she's really passionate about. She says, Stan, you can't do this all by yourself. You have to ask for help. And so she made this box, her and the interns maybe last year. And it took a lot to make this little box, to paste everything together and everything. So she made this little box. She couldn't be here today. This is the first ArtSpeaks she's missed. She's under the weather. But she texted me and told me not to forget the box. And so I got the box. And I also have some little flyers. If you want to donate, you can donate through PayPal. But I'm gonna pass this little box around. You hand it around, and if you are so inclined to donate, please do so. All of our programs are free. It's one of the things I try to raise enough money to continue to offer free programming to the community. Everything we do is free. We don't charge for anything. This is free. All of our programs are free. Absolutely free, no charge for anybody. So thank you so much. With that, we are going to, did I leave anything? Oh, Mr. Mullins. Where did Mr. Mullins go? He was on the piano. He's out there. Give him a hand. Thank you so much. I couldn't get his lovely wife to share a poem with us today, but she brought him, and he played once before at one of our events, and he played so beautifully. So I asked him, could he provide some ambiance? So thank you so much. Oh, I'm sweating. It was a little rough today. We had a little rough patch, but we were thankful. There's a camera right behind you. Yeah, right behind you. There's a camera. Yeah. You don't want to block the camera. So I'm looking for my hanky. But we're going to get started. And once again, thank you all so much for coming. So what are we? What are we but breath and thought? A magnificent heap of unborn words waiting to be made alive. What are we but poets upon life's grand stage? So this is for the ones who sit tribal and knowing. This is for the ones who stand at the back door of the empire, clawing pencil and paper. This is for the ones suspended from rooftops, writing and quoting prophetic doomsday poetry. And this is for the ones who kneel down on blacktop asphalt highways, writing long roads of white lime rock words until their knees bleed and their fingers cramp and blister and the earth buckles from so much expression. And this is for the ones who believe that one day, when kingdom come, it will be at once, the same time, everywhere, all over the world. And this is for the ones who bear witness. This is for all of us. Thank you, and welcome to another amazing Art Speaks. So, someone out there has number one, right? Hey. We drew numbers to go in the order of, so I would have to have that burden of choosing, who goes first and who goes last. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Oh my, to have to follow E. Stanley Richardson. But anyway, my name is Michelle Dunlap. My website is drmichelleteaches.com. I'm a longtime educator, and I'll be reading a poem from my most recent book, Retail Racism, Shopping While Black and Brown in America. Okay, and I'll just get right to it. It's a poem on page 209 that I wrote, based on an experience that I had in a grocery store. It's called Whitney in the Purple Dress. As I stood in line at the store yesterday, I looked over at the magazines, and there I saw copies of a national magazine with the dead body of Whitney Houston on the cover. There she lay in clear focus, purple dress, lipstick, pretty hair, and at peace. Did I also see a pearl necklace or something similar? I tried not to soak in too much, and I looked away. I realized I had been staring, and I felt guilty. Though I tried not to look, it seemed the magazine was everywhere, to the right, to the left, at the top, and at the bottom. I prayed that my little one would not notice, and it seems he didn't, or at least he didn't talk about it. A human body, a woman's body, and especially a Black woman's body, even when dead, is not considered sacred. This ought not be. Thank you.
This is not an accident. 2. Right here. Hello, I am CheekyKev.com. I'm an Aries sun, a Gemini moon, and a Cancer to society. And this is a little joint called Autobiography. Since this is my first time on the ArtSpeaks stage, and I tend to put my vulnerabilities on full display, I reckon an introduction ought to be made. So greetings to you from me, my brain. With words I defer to putting caution to the wind, calm, clever, confident, and comfortable in my skin. Is it because I'm just youthful for my age? Or maybe, perchance, I'm just blooming too late. As the decades ascend, then so does the fun. An accounting of regrets reveals a balance of 1. A further audit tallies my fucks given at none. It's the always learning nothing that keeps me young. My disposition is death is a return to the bliss of a peaceful nothing where eternity exists. The sun is a metronome ticking the time away, and life is an instrument. You watch or you play. My kindness has me constantly mistaken for weak, so the canines circle baying, displaying their teeth. But the wolves preying on me should stay with the sheep because my taming technique is always caging the beast. And my flow is like the river into the sea. Alphanumerically, my delta's 9 THC. My brain is the leaf that extends from the tree. From sun rays to glum days, I collect energy. My ammo are quips and phrases that rhyme. My tongue is a gun that blazes in time. My skin is a canvas, color shades and lines peek through the tattoos to gaze at my mind. My fingers are magnetic when plucking metal strings, and my mouth can spout heat like the way a kettle sings. My thinking's pragmatic because that's what metal brings, so I tout my clout neat when it's time to settle things. My eyes are like free falling through the sky, so take a whiff off the clouds as you float on by. My beard is like an itch in the middle of your back. It's just out of reach, but I know you want to scratch. My muscles are like a TikTok challenge craze, capable of doing damage, but they're mainly for play. My nails are lacquered because fuck that convention, plus people are attracted and provide much attention. Autobiography, born for both guys and girls, you fuckwit phobics, I get the best of both worlds. Not aesthetic arrogance, just genetic inheritance. A human being, so all of my flaws have merit. But if you can't love yourself and know thy worth, then what even is the point of being on this earth? Thank you. Number 3, come on down. Number 3. Number 3. Sir, come on down. Give it up for number 3.
Yes, I'm number 3. My name is Bill Snyder. I moved to Gainesville in 2021. from North Dakota. It's the first time I've read at ArtSpeak. I really like to do ekphrastic poems. They're poems that they are inspired from art in various ways. I was looking at a painting by Carl Bloch, who is a 19th century Danish painter, and the title of his painting was The Sermon on the Mount. And I'm sure you've seen it, it's everywhere. But the way that he rendered the people listening to the sermon reminded me of a Billy Joel video. And the Billy Joel video is the one of And So It Goes. You're probably familiar with that song. And so it goes, and so it goes, da 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 da. I won't do the whole song. So this song is this poem is called Reverence, after the Sermon on the Mount by Carl Bloch, 1877, and So It Goes, Billy Joel, official video, 1989. You've seen the Billy Joel, black and white, keyboard, hands, fingers. He's singing, and with him, voices, female voices, soft, like the breathing of children in sleep, like laughter at play. You feel a joyousness behind your ears, above your head, the arrival of tears, of joy. Then a longer view, a seagrass swirling of arms and silhouette, lighters flickering, swaying like corona points of stars. The camera in the midst of waves of dark and light, voices singing, soft, present, heart-like, like the tracings of skin webs, tender and sheer, between a lover's fingers. And you're above, beside the piano, ebony black in its black and white, Joel singing, people standing close. Young people, teens, t-shirt, work shirt, beard, and 4 young girls immersed. And one, arms crossed on the lip of the stage, rests her cheek on her upper wrist, listening, giving. And there, a boy in the bright shadowed light, spotlights crossed behind, illuminating this boy's shoulders and face like a painting. This boy, short hair, white shirt alive, 4 arms and hands on the stage, knuckles, fingers together, and all at once he wrinkles, creases his forehead. It is not a grimace or frown or pain. It is something inside of him, something awakened, recognized, something lost, and he bows his head quickly, but in steps, 2, 3, the first and second insufficient for what? For how he feels. He extends his hand toward the piano, palm down, toward Joel, toward the music. The other hand beside the elbows camber, as if to bless, to be a witness to the strings and hammers and felts, the mechanical things, and to the fingers upon them, around them, of them, and to the voices, to live this song, this singing, this sway he feels, this side to side of listeners there like moontide, like sex, a gentleness. The boy raises his head. He hears the words, his arm and hand and nod, his offering, his suffering. Thank you.
My name is Koala. I'm number 4. Can you hear me now? You see, I might have to bring it back. There we go. I just don't want it in my way. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay? All right. Okay. This first poem, I'm doing 2. I'll be as fast as I can. This first poem I wrote actually from an experience of sitting on the couch in May 2020, watching George Floyd hollering out, crying out, "I can't breathe." And it hit me hard of what's the most important thing. And while he's laying there hollering out, "I can't breathe," the whole world is also going through the experience of COVID, where their life is at stake and they are having a hard time breathing. I'm sitting there, my life was on the line at that time. Breath. Listen to the raindrops inside your space. Listen to the soft breath inside your space. This is how I feel since the pandemic, endemic, systemic. The I in me still has my being, still has my breath. Breath, the most precious of earth and all things in it. When upon reflection, the echo of "I can't breathe" was cried out on that day, on May 2020, from George Floyd. "I can't breathe" carried a profound, a distinct, a unique message across the sky, across the globe, across the sound barrier, yet gone unnoticed. That breath, that need to breathe is calling each and every one of us onto itself, to feel it, to know yourself, until poof, it's gone. Breathe in, a child is born. Breathe out, a loved one has passed on. Breathe in, existence. Breathe out, gone. Breath, the maker of all things. Breathe. Without breath, nothing is alive. Ground zero, no life, no body, no one, no thing. Breath, the generator, operator, and destroyer. Breath blows the monsoons over massive desert dunes. Breath moves rivers down vast mountains on high, flowing down to endless oceans, one drop at a time. Breath erupts volcanoes on ocean floors. Breath sends lightning bolts crackling through gray clouds and boom, shaking everyone to its core. Breath sprouts tiny little seedlings into gigantic trees, swaying and swaying with the clouds, bringing forth the rain. And yet, breath is not entitled to you. No birthright whilst you are alive, but given to us for free. Breath you think is a thing, no need to notice. You think breath has no meaning, no value, moving quietly in the background, in the hard ground, until tragedy comes and strikes you down. Now you have appreciation. Now you have gratitude. Now you bow your head in grief. Listen to the soft breath inside your space. Awaken, awaken, awaken to that soft breath, yet profound in love, urging you forward to be with it now. Listen to the raindrops inside your space. Listen to the soft breath inside your space. Listen to the soft breath inside your space. Oh, I'm just shaking. I have one more that I definitely planned for this too. And I was inspired by Kamala Harris at her DNC convention when she mentioned that she had a friend. And her best friend was sad. And she asked her why. And it come to find out her best friend had been sexually abused. And so that really inspired me. And so I am dedicating this poem to all. And she said she had become a lawyer for that reason, to help people who had been sexually abused and abused in all kinds of ways. And so I want to dedicate this poem to all of those here in this room who have been abused, and to everyone who has been traumatized by whatever you have gone through. The wind is not my friend. It forces the air out of its nose, slapping my face briskly without a grin. The wind is not my friend. It pushes against my will, then quickly goes. The wind, my will, is not a match to the wind. The wind is not my friend, reminding me of a man who closed his power in on me. My spirit may never mend. This man was like the wind, a force so piercing, as she recalls, a touch so cold, he knew no fear of sin. The wind is not my friend, no respect for the things it blows. Its power it does not lend. I'm not a friend of the man nor the wind. I guard and distrust my soul. The wind can thrust to the very end, but where there is sun, the wind doth not unclothe. Amen. Thank you.
Now, can you hear me? Whoops, knock it over. I'm number 5. Yes, Pam Skarska, number 5. I will not share this image, this child's body, his head, blood pouring in real time, left leg cocked impossibly behind and his small hand limp by his side. Boys and men run to him, one screaming, others crying. You can feel their anguish without understanding a word. This pain multiplies by incomprehensible numbers. Almost a year now, 45,000 people dead, so many dead, families, friends speaking one moment and gone the next. An Israeli soldier fills clear plastic bags, body parts, pieces unrecognizable. 30 kilograms, a child. 70 kilograms, a parent. Civilians dig deep in the ground, buildings turned into rubble, layer upon layer, dust and blood, sorrow upon sorrow. And no, I will not share this dying child. We cannot see such horror. It cannot touch our fragile skin. Such blood, so much blood, destruction day after day. I don't want to be disagreeable. Speak something untoward, but the repetition demands a response. We are undone by the responsibility. Our collective impotence speaks our answer. And the children fall by bullet, by bomb, by famine, by disease, by madness. My tax dollars assure the completion, the wiping away of a people. We are expert. This is a mighty alliance, Israel and the U.S. As the UN declares an end, the U.S. cries no, and it does not end. Our alliance revisited. Guatemala, Nicaragua, El Salvador, war games and weapons. No one is even trying to sweep it under the carpet anymore. Loud and proud, the removal of the indigenous problem. Palestine disappeared.
My name is Edward. I'm number 6. The title of my poem is Church of the Evil Congregation. On a cool, dark night, early in the campaign revival season, in a wealthy beach town with no middle class, a carnival tent conceals a makeshift wooden gallows where a scientist is hung in effigy with rope braided from ignorance, prejudice, lust, and greed. The choir sings joyful words glorifying cynicism in perfect social harmony, with the high status voices having dominance over the low status voices. The Alpha King is self-anointing with Arabian oil and American bloodlust, assuring his loyal followers they have been deprived of their vision of America. And at long last, he has come to fulfill their entitlement. He understands their longing. He is their kind of guy, with a terrific bully pulpit, championing straight talk and individualism rather than tradition, allowing crass comment, illiterate insults, and casual acts of cruelty to become the norm. A buckskin hero, he easily convinces his faithful followers that he will battle relentlessly for falsehood, because truth can be heartbreaking and violent, like broken bones and blood. His disciples celebrate his accomplishments by chanting racist slogans for deportation of all people of color. And the choir sings a pungent song about legal protection for the unborn, and the faithful pray for more fencing, more immigration detention centers, and their voices can be heard in every state, from sea to shining sea, echoing songs of joyous rapture for the one they have chosen to lead them into the promised land for white Christians only. On an island in the harbor, the goddess of liberty stands steadfast against tyranny, her torch blazing with rage for the inhumane treatment of her children, and the supreme power of a mother's retribution gives hope the last word at the ballot box.
Whoa.
I'm number 7. My name is Majida, and I'm going to do a poem titled Social Media Dilemma. It's about a woman and her battle with the algorithm and what it's doing to her mental health. I'm quitting social media. It's a time stealer like no other. Controls your mind like no other. Rob you of your time with loved ones and family. So why bother? Oh, for marketing and networking? You asking to see my follower account? My worth is in my follower account? Sign up for this course to learn how to attract more followers. Money back guaranteed if it don't work for you like how it worked for me. Paul, me want back me $1,000. Them me a fake follower. Them not like my post. Them just a make-up number. Paul ignore me, so me block him and post 3-4 times a day like Hootsuite say. How many people like my posts? Did it perform as good as the last one? No. It's like nobody no see it. It's 2 a.m. and I just woke up. Let me see how many likes and comments I got. That more important than sleep, it seems. I spent all day making that video and Instagram not running that reel. Boost this reel. Oh no, show it for free. Over 6,000 saw the last one for free. Why do I need to boost this reel? The video I wanted to run at 4, TikTok decided not to show it till the next morning. So I miss my peak time for posts. I know my follower, them gonna work. Them not look on TikTok in the morning, them there work. I write poems, and Facebook only want to see my face. A poem without my face is a poem nobody press like for. And the men them compliment my looks, but not the style of my poem. The man them take social media for dating site. Please, no more DMs, please. Who is in for a writer's lift? It's shameless self-promotion there on Twitter. Follow for follow and like for like. Hashtag this and hashtag that. But after them get me likes and me follow, it's like them can't see nothing of my post after. No, you know only why one person like my tweet. As long as there's a like button, I'll press it. Even if it's my own post or my own reel or my own tweet. And I try Clapper, but don't even get me started about Clapper. Let's just say it's a very different world over there. Perhaps you'll figure it out, and that's all I say. Social media strategy is really not for everybody. It really not work for me. Now you see why I have to quit. Now we get more sleep and not have to worry about creating content to keep current. Social media is a time thief. And follower account really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Clapper, I quit. But probably with this poem we go viral, so maybe stick around for it. TikTok, you see it? More than 200 views, please. Well, hello, Threads. You look just like my ex named Twitter. I'm not quitting social media.
Number 8, keeping it straight. I would be remiss if I did not congratulate my good friend, Carol, whom I've known for years, and her husband for such an outstanding job. I'm wasting my time. They have done. I'm a historian also. An Archer tribute, Poetic Justice, composed by Reverend Charlie Lewis and Lizzie Polly Sam Brown in 1926, translated by my mother, Teresa Marie Brown Robinson, July 30, 1992, published in my book, Lizzie Polly Robinson Brown Jenkins, June 1995. Archer, Florida is my hometown. That's where I was born. Born and bred there. It's my stomping ground. When I was growing up, and what my grandfather saw when he was growing up, same standards emphasized in every Black family's household. So this is my poem. Archer, Florida, borders Highway 24. A good place to raise a family, need I say more? High standards endorsed, common sense in place, golden rules established at each home base. Working parents imparted high expectations. Children were involved in church and school relations. Teaming was essential. Strong parenting was evident. Shared rules extended throughout each settlement. At church and school, we set realistic goals, teaching children to respect the young and old. Agreed, controlled routines to improve lives. Keeping on, changes were on the rise. Love without hesitation. Our children belong to us. If one child was at risk, then it became a must. I must. You must. And all of us must realize a crash in communication would disrupt our lives. From every aspect, children were our points of life. Each one deserved the best of what was right. Layered with respect from the Archer caring team, embracing and encouraging tailored their self-esteem. Strong neighborhood networks kept us in touch. Practicing church and school prayer, we advanced much. Those are the good old days that I so dearly miss when I rewind my internal clock and quietly reminisce. Thank you.
Bring it down a little. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm Shanti. I think I'll move it. So, hi Eric. So, I've been thinking about this place. 20 years ago in June, I was married right there under that light. And the photos show the sunlight streaming on the walls. And we covered the eagles with beautiful banners and circular banners. And so if you were driving by here, you go, oh, there's a building. Like a lot of other buildings, right? But this place is infused with culture. What the energy we are dropping in here today is more, even more, every day, And so of those 20 years, and of course I've been here 73, every day is a gift. And every moment we have the opportunity to give, to share. And I'm just so honored and grateful. And to have Carol taking the place here is such a blessing. I've seen your smile for many years in this town, and to have you here and Stan and everybody else. So, so in my life, I've had lots of trial and error. I was born in 51, and I was graduating from high school in 68. I went to Woodstock in 69, and I did a lot of experimenting throughout, and for many, many years. And then I always was seeking community, hippie communes, and different religious, ideas. And what I finally came around to was the Buddhist doctrine or texts that I'm studying, because this is a science of the mind. It makes a lot of sense to me. And so I have this lovely little book, The Way of the Bodhisattva, and it's for really all schools. There's just so much wisdom there. So I just want to share first a little bit of that, And then also today, I went to a writing workshop that you could look up. It's every other Sunday at 2 o'clock on Zoom. And there's a woman named Diane Zinna, and she calls it Grief Writing Sundays. And so I've gone to several of those, and I did go today. So the poem I'm reading you today, I wrote at 2:30 on her workshop. So really good timing on that one. But a little bit from The Way of the Bodhisattva. Now this book, this revelation came in the 700s, in the 8th century, after AD. And so just a little bit out of the introduction to the book. It's an overwhelming demonstration of how concern for others and a love that wholly transcends desire and concern for self lies at the core of all true spiritual endeavor and is the very heart of enlightened wisdom. So bodhisattva, bodhicitta is, citta in Sanskrit means mind, thought, or attitude. And bodhi means enlightenment or awakening, or shall we say being woke, which some people are kind of afraid of that, I think. So it's the mind of enlightenment. Shantideva brings to our attention the realities of egocentric existence in all its pain and idiocy, and places before us the vision of a wholly new alternative, together with a practical instruction whereby that vision may become an actual experience. And I'm just taking little quotes out of the introduction to the book. Suffering is a consequence of one's own action, not a retribution inflicted by an external power. So our actions, our thoughts, words, and actions are seeds that we plant, and then we do get the fruits from those seeds eventually. So I came to realize that I only want to plant seeds of kindness and compassion. That's all. And I'm constantly doing what I call mental floss every day, like, because, we're human, So, and just we're the authors of our own destiny, and being the authors, we are ultimately perhaps frighteningly free. And that really hit me, frighteningly free. It's almost like you're standing at the abyss and like, what's out there? It's really scary. Freedom, It's kind of scary if you're not tuned in that direction. If suffering is the fruit of thoughts and action, it can be avoided. The realization that we're in a position to change ourselves and so shape our destiny leads logically to confession. Although regret is naturally entailed, this does not involve an orgy of guilty breastbeating or exaggerated feelings of inadequacy. So I've been very familiar with that. Anybody else here? Kicking yourself, the guy with the string to kick yourself in the butt. Well, that really didn't get me anywhere. So some of you know that I've had 4 children back in the 70s. And my dear, sweet daughter, Naomi, this poem is for her. It doesn't have a title yet because I just wrote it today. Ah, sweet September, when summer turns to fall, autumn leaves, cool breeze blow by, refreshing, new. Sweet sorrow deposits butterfly kisses on my cheek. I smile and say, thank you, sweetie. Oh, glad September, the month of your birth. You came in on the first day of autumn like a whisper in the morning. We didn't know your name. We were not in a hurry. You were born at home in the school bus. You were surrounded by family. Ooh, sad September. I try to celebrate your birthday, not knowing how. Your absence, a constant rumbling, shaking the earth ever so slightly, like a freight truck rolling above the highway, wandering below the lonely ones whose gait displays joyless, angsty hesitation. Ah, sweet Naomi, child of the autumn sun, child of laughter and light. Only grief could cloud your sunny soul. Only grief could cause your flame to fade and die. Ah, Naomi, dear Naomi, my heart bursts with love for you and for the boundless, beautiful souls you have greeted here on earth. Ah, sweet Naomi September, your legacy, a tapestry woven of agony and beauty, of pain and joy, of tears and laughter, of poison and clear water. I joyfully face each day. I plow through the wreckage of this human condition. The memory of you leaves me with a broken, empty bowl, but a bowl whose cracks are mended with gold and sunshine, the cracks where your light shines through. Your passion and beauty are etched deep in my soul. I will remember you. I have to say, Art's been with me through all of this, and it's so amazing you're sitting right there in front. Also, I have a book club on this book. It'll be starting soon if anyone's interested. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. See if I can make this work. Maybe. I'm not really good at these things. Anyway, let's get as close as I can and see if it works. It might be working. Okay. Hi again. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Hugh Edward Suggs, but Hugh was Dad's name, so you guys can just call me Eddie. And for all of you who are still maybe on your latest rock bottom like I am, I've been on mine since January now, so sorry for not being out and about with you guys. It's been tough for me for the last 9 months. So this personal exorcism and force reform is for any of you who are in that situation. Glad to have you back. Thank you. Pissing blood. Passing stones alone in the darkness, praying again to the God of inebriation, I realized the path to spiritual consciousness must be paved with aluminum cans. Filling calloused hands at prayer rails or crumpled and rank along the roadsides is a redneck trail of tears, of rusted out soles and whistle stops where rotted cross ties protrude from played out sand like ribs of iron horses through skin pulled too tight. Our abandoned shacks wearing plywood eye patches. Those able-bodied skulls and crossbones who swabbed at the dust in those windswept fields and once swung from poverty's ropes, blade between teeth, are the buried treasure now. Their monuments lean becalmed in time's wake. Oh, so many sacrifices flung from pillar to post, open windows inside this rippling blur between then and now. That smoky nature of resilience that swirls in the eye and the bottom of a glass. Swallowed like pride and arrogant ignorance, their pull tabs, spent butts and Coke bottle chasers and bloody streams of minerals and grit woven back into the land, but the seeds for a new harvest. A resurrection of sorts, reforged in mankind's drunken image, resurrecting our fallow landscapes to us children of alcoholics. But once we were heroes, when leather stick and stone clashed with bone, as a bull mastodon turned to fight for his mate, later sharpening more shards by firelight, we danced away our fear of the dark and things larger than ourselves, for we were heroes. With salted pork and sail, we challenged even the sea, pillaged and raped 2 more continents, over 100 million cook fires extinguished, and another race enslaved. But we were heroes. Slaughtered as they grazed, herds of peaceful buffalo, stacked skinless in rotten piles, sickened even the grass. Plows turned the prairie to dust and it blew away, yet we were heroes. So many bleached bones beneath thin-skinned cities. No sacrifice was too great for our skylines, no profit ever enough for their builders' rage. Corralled in crumbling tenements, their children cut their teeth on each other, ignore the sun's power and melting ice to leave boot prints on the faces of countless cultures. Still we were heroes. Bombers and unfed babies whine while we empty oceans and fill the skies, trading the intellect which drove us to the top of the food chain for cold things that shine. The last whale pods are singing their death songs, but in our anthems, we were heroes.
Hello. All right. I may not need this, but we'll see. My name is Travis Prescott, or you can also call me TL. That's what my mom did. Call me a lot of things, but TL primarily. Most of my poetry is about memory and how it shapes us and lives in the present. So it kind of goes back and forth. This one I wrote for my sister. If you've ever been touched by dementia, if you know anyone who's ever encountered that, then you'll know a little bit about this. So, if hope has a shape. If hope has a shape, I'd like to think that it carries some weight. A presence as palpable, perhaps, as the singular world of this rock, now cradled in my palm. A world of possibilities and its yet unspoken purpose, to ponder once solitary, now with me paired. And as we regard one another, the resonance of recognition creates a space for rest. Now, other passersby may or may not have nodded to the profound, but rather poked or prodded for more, or simply just plodded on as a pretend pilgrimage, wondering why they didn't park their car in the shade, no pause to stay or speak of as they go. But I prefer praise and parting as a way of forward momentum, of peace released in rippled precision. You can practically see a painting in the progress, a prayer of promise as it skips across the grassy lake in perpetuity, at last a great divide no more, here, now, perfection. Let's just sit a spell, I'll say, and we'll tip back into the soft, cool bluegrass, pick up a note of the hay in the night air, stargazing, while that tune about Carl Sagan spinning a yarn from a star-dusted fiddle floats softly from somewhere unspecific, but still somehow familiar, and we'll be tapping our bare feet in good measure, and poof, out of nowhere, you'll say, well, pucker up, buttercup, and I'll say, well, that's how it goes, twinkle toes. And your eyes just sparkle. Oh, how they sparkle. Well, I say I can tell you, some try preaching it from the pulpit, or maybe just perching it in a poem, but as pretty as you please. No, sir, no, ma'am. I say, give me a rock with the patience of a saint, and I will show you the forgotten parts of yourself along the pathway of memory. And then, my dear, sweet, sleepless sister, then you will finally understand just how very precious you are to me.
Good afternoon. I'm Scott Coons, and I have the honor and privilege of introducing poet number 12, my wife, Pamela Marshall Coons. Stanley asked Pamela if she write a couple of poems about her candidacy, So I'm going to introduce her with a poem. Isn't It Time by Pamela Marshall Coons. Isn't it time for a change that's bold, a story of courage, a voice, a vision retold? Pamela stands with a heart so strong, ready to lead where others went wrong. Isn't it time for a voice that's new, one that understands what we've been through? A mom, a grandma, with wisdom to share, with policies crafted with genuine care. Isn't it time for passion to lead, for the hearts that heal and hands that feed? With experience rich in policy and law, Pamela sees what others never saw. Isn't it time to rise and stand, with Pamela guiding hand in hand, for Alachua County to thrive and shine? Isn't it time? Oh yes, it's time. With every vote, a new dawn breaks, a future shaped by steps she takes. Isn't it time for a sheriff who cares, who leads with love and justice shares? Pamela's here, ready to serve, a voice that our community deserves. Isn't it time? The moment's near to cast your vote, to make it clear. Pamela's the choice for change sublime, for Alachua County. Isn't it time?
Good afternoon. Number 12 plus. 12 2.0. A bold stand. I stand here today with a heart full of fire, a bold decision driven by desire to be the change, to lead with grace for Alachua County, a safer place. And I hear those voices, Pamela, you try to do too much. So then I answer those voices. To the too much, to the do too much leaders, they say, whoever they is, people say, I'm doing too much. A poet, a writer, an actress, an activist, a yoga teacher, mindful and present, a public policy strategist, wife, mother, grandma, a peace ambassador, a candidate for Alachua County Sheriff, and a child of the creator of all that is good. So how could I ever be doing too much? When my creator painted galaxies across the sky, breathed life into the deep ocean, crafted every star, every bird in the air, every cell that hums within our bodies. If the naysayers had been in his workshop, they would have said, stop, you're doing too much. But we live in a world where in this world, too much is still not enough. Last night, 100 Americans died from gunfire, most of them by their own hand, lost to suicide. Because of domestic violence, another mother is homeless, her children left without shelter, hungry, searching for safety. Another family's heart shattered by a judge's gavel, 15 years passed down. We didn't do enough. Can we afford not to do too much? When lives are shattered and homes left broken, when children cry out in hunger and fear, when violence claims the night and hope fades at dawn, can we really do too much to heal what's already torn? So no, I won't stop. I won't slow down. I won't back down. The creator in me calls forth the urge to do more, to fight harder, to push for change, to bring peace where there's chaos, justice where there's pain, safety where there's fear. Let the people say, so I do too much. Now, I invite you to join me in this work.
You be guilty too of loving too hard, of standing too strong, of leading in a way that demands more than what this pitiful world thinks we can give. Let's do too much for those who need it the most. Vote for Pamela, and together we will be the leaders who do too much. And when they speak of us, let them say they did too much for justice. They did too much for peace. They did too much for freedom. They did too much for all. Thank you.
I'm 13. I'm Rex. 13 is a nice number, so I remembered. This poem is called Staccato Heart. I view it as an anti-love poem. Falling through the stark arena of your heart, in a vein so slender, only wishes slip in. I stick to your ventricles like rock candy. You're anorexic, and my love has calories. Will you stay on wounded nights? When I am both the animal and the automaton. When colors bleed into numbers and my clothes levitate off the ground. Your burning blush stains my mind's metal bars. Your pearly gates splitting truth from lies, substance from the immaterial. If we were wolves in the winter, I would howl and you would die. If we were fruits, I would get canned and sent to the factory. You would get sprinkled on toast in a delicatessen. I'll be your bite friend, your tragic experiment, the one you pinned down on a rainy day, the one who thinks I'm binary but vomits cotton candy on a bent panoramic frame. Please run away. Some days you are just a pink staccato in a hazy gray cornfield. Some days I'm a bitter pill to swallow, a neon chameleon twisting through your topiary. I'll spread myself across you like an accordion and play a bitter note. If I am your afterthought, I want to be an exclamation point, not a question mark. What will you do when you find a labyrinth behind my hungry body?
Thank you, that was lovely. Hello, I'm Muriel Maxis, number 14. And, let me get 14. I'm here, this is my second time attending the annual Art Speak, and it's a delight to always join it. In 2000, I graduated from college just fine. To my surprise, as I'm studying for my national exam, I get a ringing in my ear, and they're like, ma'am, I went to the doctor, you have complex partial seizures. Like, what is that? I'm 27, I went to school fine. What's going on? Well, anyway, that was in 2000. And I lived with those seizures for about 7 years. I was in Alabama until I moved here to Gainesville. My sister was going to UF. In 2006, I'm trying to be quick, I kept a journal of all those years of dealing with my seizures, because I'm like, God, why me and why now? What's going on? I'm about to enter adulthood and live life. Oh, no, you need a break. What? Anyway, so I kept a journal, and one night I was just praying, God, why me and why now? And how do I come to you with everything? And after I did that prayer, I wrote it in my journal. I went back in my journal, and my best friend, who's a writer, I'm a creative person. I'm sewing, drawing, I do all that. It took a while, like artists, no, not me, I do other stuff, but I'm an artist, I'm gonna say that. Well, the poem that I wrote, that prayer morphed into a poem. I credit my best friend, Patricia. She said, use the word morph, Muriel. That prayer got morphed into a poem. that I'm about to share with you right now. It's entitled Everything, Yes, Everything. Let me see the hands of those who know the footprint poem. I want this poem to get as popular as that, okay? So every chance I get to share it, I like to share it. Everything, yes, everything. I can come to you with everything, Heavenly Father. Oh, how I want to grow, but whatever it is, I can't let it go. My sometimes confusing state of mind, which gets me in a serious bind. The burdens I choose to carry, which causes me to sway, so I forget that Jesus is the way. Even the heartaches my family endures because there seems to be no cure. Even the laziness and the restlessness of my life, which cause me to struggle with mental strife. What about the days when I don't want to pray? Still, some days I just get on my knees on my bed, I lay. You mean I can come to you with everything, Heavenly Father? Yes. Everything, my precious child, everything. Don't you believe that I can do all things? Father, look. Even the decisions I have to make, but the first step, I'm always afraid to take. The plans you have for me and the dreams I so long for, yet I can't achieve them due to the doubts and fears that I store. Even lonely tears that I weep so heavily. Thus I forget you still love me so tenderly. What about the style of my natural hair and the many shoes that I wear? You mean I can come to you with everything, Heavenly Father? Yes. Everything, my precious child, everything. Don't you believe and know that the victory has already been won? The outfits you wear, the keys that you lose, the books you want to read, the husband or wife to choose, the job that you need to pay your bills, to give you a tithe and offerings at free will, the frustrations of life which blinds you, makes you wonder if I'm still with you, that exam you gave up on, I can help you carry on. The procrastinations you battle, all to me I say surrender so I can handle. Yes, my precious child, you can come to me with everything. No more excuses, just hard work. You're never a failure, just a student of life. And guess what? There will always be a lot for you to learn. So hold on strongly as your life journey goes on. Yes, my precious child, you can come to me with everything. If you want to have it, it's in this book. I got a few you can purchase. And I just want to say, it's been 17, I had that brain surgery in 2007. It's been 17 years since I had a seizure. I got my license back after 7 years of it being suspended. UF Health Shands, way to go. God is good.
Quick announcement. We have food, refreshments, food in the back. If you happen to, please try to stay until the very end to hear all of the amazing reports we have. But if you have to get up, remember there's food. I can't take all that food home with me. All right? And I hope you're enjoying yourselves. I've heard some amazing poets. And so what number was that? 14. 14, so who's 15? We want an intermission?
Fuck the intermission.
No. What'd you say?
Intermission and then people go home.
No, there's no intermission.
That doesn't happen.
There is no intermission.
No,
there's no intermission.
Sit down. Yeah. Intermission. Intermission is, no. People go home. You say intermission and that gives people permission to leave. No, screw that. No. I'm number 15. Actually, I'm number 51, but I turned it upside down because I wanted to go earlier. My name is David Moss. I sometimes bill myself as the world's most dangerous poet because somebody has to. Proud to present. The following is dedicated to lengthy introductions at poetry readings. Writers not only share their work, but also add valuable insight before they begin. In the first part, I talk about my mother. In the second part, I talk about my father. In the third part, I talk about my best friend growing up, she says, and reads a story about her mother, her father, and her best friend growing up. How thoughtful of her to precap her work. The following is dedicated to irrelevant introductions. I wrote this while hungover from a weekend of scotch and vanilla schnapps, he says, and reads a poem about his old girlfriend. I wrote this first as an essay, then as a story, and now it's performance poetry, she says, and recites a limerick. She doesn't share the earlier versions, but the audience doesn't mind, and they applaud when she is done. The following is dedicated to introductions longer than the works they introduce. Most readers follow the rule of 3. Every minute of actual reading should be preceded by at least 3 minutes of introduction. This helps to fill out the schedule. Rather than allow listeners to personalize a poem, a seasoned reader will bind and shackle the audience so they think only as the author thinks. This is called artistic guidance. The following is dedicated to introductions made necessary by work which is boring, unfinished, or just plain bad. This poem is about bicycle safety, he says, and rattles off 20 Eskimo words for snow. Instead of wasting time improving his opus, this astute author recites oft-repeated explanations. His place in history is now assured. In conclusion, a balloon the size and shape of a person appears at a distance indistinguishable from a real person. Brick pattern wallpaper stuck to a brick wall feels like a brick wall. Maps unfolding to actual size can be traveled instead of the streets they claim to represent. 1 mile equals 1 mile, but better when it fits in your pocket. An orgasm lasts but a few seconds, yet copulation takes several minutes, foreplay several hours, and sex education an entire lifetime. Creativity palls to the person on the stage. After all, 15 minutes of fame isn't enough, especially in a room of sometimes more than 22 people. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I am number 16. This is the first time that I'm here. I'm a bit nervous. I've been writing since I was 15 years old. I met Natalie Graham very young, and she always encouraged me to push forward. But Natalie Graham, yeah. We know each other very well. She's always encouraged me to share my work, but I was always self-conscious about it. So anyway, I got 2 pieces, one called Mistakes and the other one called Greatest Weapons. So here we go. First one is Mistakes. I am nothing more than what I am, what I'll always be. A canvas splashed with colors of all strands, but what you'll always see is every slip and fall that cracks and rips around the edges. Born with the luck of rain clouds, mere breathing is my blessing. Deception is a mistress I'm ashamed to fall in bed with, yet she's the only consistent thing that I have fought and bled with. Cried 1,000 rivers just to drown in utter dread with. Riddled with hard lessons that can only garner questions like, what's next in the objective of these soul-draining disappointments? Been told that since my birth that I've been given blessings, anointed. Yet these gardens have been barren for as long as I remember. I guess presence is only meaningful by what's intended by the giver. Cold shivers and idle thoughts. Harsh love and shattered rocks are wondrous thoughts in an empty box where paths are closed and doors are locked. For no one cares how far you come and gone, just what you lastly leave behind. Abundance of pleasure could be seen everywhere, but some pain can make them blind to any way you were kind, to any love you've shown, for any forgiveness you've given, for any way that you've grown. For regardless of how flawed we are, expected is perfection. So be careful of all your mistakes. They might be used for weapons, to justify judgment, to sacrifice a chance, to rip away a blood bond, to fist once loving hands, but really most of all, the most damaging thing they could ever do is be the very reason someone says they no longer love you. The second one is called Greatest Weapon. Feeling out of my element, so I changed the weather. Used saliva, blood, and super glue to hold this shit together. Maybe that explains the sin around me. I ain't know much better. When trained solely in survival mode, the aftermath gets clever, heavier the less you take the time to think about your actions. See, the first half of life's about the gains, but the second half's about subtraction. But what happens when one tends to feel that everything's a loss? Drugs, sex, and lust included in to fraction out the cost. See, it's unfortunate that I was born, the valley of the rough, but fortunate that I lived this long to know that I'm enough, to see that my beginning never would define my end, that I don't need friends or family to find true love within, for when it really came down to it, just the mirror had my back. While the loner is the aura that I always would attract, for you left to build your own world when you don't fit in. Get used to no appreciation for the work that you put in, but then again, I'm at peace. Life has issued me a new lease, and everything that happened taught me how to stand on my own 2 feet. So for everyone who turned their back, I appreciate the lesson. For now I know I will always be my best and greatest weapon. Thank you. All right.
All right, 17. Hi, I'm number 17. My name is Alana. On social media, I'm Lana J Lyrics. But so the piece I'm going to do for you all is just about this idea of walking your path, walking your journey, and the fact that as you walk, you're actually painting a picture of possibility that other people can follow. So that's what this piece is. Tired of treading lightly through your life? I said, tired of treading lightly through your life? Walk wildly. Walk wildly, out of step, out of line, out of bounds of the keeper's timing. Walk wildly with gratitude. Leaping over pebbles and crashing into puddles, squishing in the mud and helping the loose dirt fly free. Unleashing it from its solitary, sedentary place. Make dirt move. You know, like you do. Give the world your energy and receive it in return. Walk wildly around your gardens, planting seed and reaping harvest. Circling your life force and stirring up its gifts, making grounds fertile by adding something good. We spent enough time tending dying things. Add something good, add something that works. Walk and add a song to your step, making new rhythms as you go. Do not worry about what you are hearing. Protect what you are producing, what's being produced in you. Make complication and celebration and challenge and courage all a part of the compost. Nothing goes unused. There are no eggshells here that weren't meant to be. Broken, walk wildly onto mountaintops and through pastures, doing things that people believe to be extraordinary. More importantly, that you believe to be extraordinary, because you are extraordinary. Walk fearlessly and boldly into your destiny with a big grin slapped on your face like a sticker that won't come off. One that was truly always meant to be there. Your happiness is the goal of your walking. So whether you trudge, bolt, saunter, skip, hop, thud, crash, splash, stumble, kick, shuffle, march, or leap, make a sound, make a path, make a journey, make a life worth the footprints to leave. Make earth move by walking all the ways that move you first. Thank you.
Hello, I'm number 18. I have 2 pieces I wanted to share today. I'm Finn. Oh yeah, I'm number 18 and my name is Finn. This piece is called An Amount of Love, and I wrote this a few days ago. You know, it's funny, the amount of love that goes into something. We can think it over, exclaim, well, now what do we have here? A curious pondering of the mind as it takes in the world, more information, more gratuity, more and more until escapism is left over, turning into a longing and a picture of what life should be. Maybe I should recite as I begin. Maybe I should sit up straighter, be a little quieter, be a little smaller. They'll always like you more if you're just a little smaller. But I wasn't made to sit down and watch the world pass me by. I wasn't made to let my dreams fall away and die. I want to be like how a flower is, standing on a hot summer day and living. You know, it's funny, the amount of love that goes into something. It tears us apart or it mends us. I like to think more of the mending. I like to think more of the time capsule that we call a memory. Every memory has lived, and so must I, if I'm to cherish what all is around me. Thank you. This one is titled, What to Hold On to When You Want to Be Rid of Your Mere Existence. It is helpful to make yourself get out of bed. It is helpful to make yourself clean your room, clean your house, and maybe even read a chapter or two from a book you've been putting off. It is helpful to cook yourself a decent meal, nothing short of a sandwich, but feel free to shoot for something Michelin star level too. It is even more helpful to drink water. It is helpful to be surrounded by good people. It is helpful to find a community. It is even more helpful if you have a cat. It is helpful to write about what you're feeling, even better to go outside to do so. It is helpful to do something that would usually make you happy, and it is helpful to try something new. Yes, I know I've said it like 50 times already. It is helpful, but none of it is a cure-all. A lot of the time, after doing all those things, or only a few of them, you will still feel like crap. The burdens in your mind will still crawl over you and make you retreat back to the comfort of your pillow, and you will be stuck with no choice but to welcome it and give in. The pointlessness of it all will envelop you and surround your senses, and the rain outside will look like the perfect excuse to excuse any shard of hopefulness that might still be within you. So why bother with the helpful tips if it all goes back to being how it was before? Why bother if my mind will always make me feel this way? To be honest, I really don't know. I know it makes some great writing material, though. I'm only half kidding. I really do think you should bother because, well, the other day when I went outside with my morning coffee, I looked up from my cup and I saw a butterfly flying around the avocado tree. I think it's important to bother because there is so much beauty that you've yet to see. If you love something or someone, please love it loudly. Thank you very much. I have books in the back if you want any. Oh, and my Instagram is dreamsinhiding.writing.
Hi, everybody. I'm number 19. My name's Jayla Ivy, and I'm going to read a poem that I wrote for my brothers. Interpret it as you will, since we just heard a poem about long introductions. Interpret it as you will. My brothers used to cry. A lot. Over every and anything. Broken toys, bumps and bruises. When sad, I used to hate it. A lot. Almost every and any time. I'd tease, I'd laugh, I'd hug. My brothers used to laugh a lot for every and anything. Silly jokes, fun times, harmless lies. I used to love it a lot. Almost every and any time, we'd tease, we'd laugh, we'd love. And then something happened. I didn't see it, no. But I imagine it was vicious, cruel, that it tore through their hearts and took what was sacred. My brothers used to cry. They don't. Not for anything. Broken bones, gashes or gore, when sad. I really miss it a lot. I'd give anything for their fears, their hugs, their tears. My brothers used to laugh. They don't. Not for anything. Not silliness, not joy, only lies. I really miss it so much. I miss their light, their warmth, their love. And sometimes I wonder, in the midst of their blood, their sorrows remain, what they hide in pain. And I think with my tears, my brothers used to cry. Thank you.
That was great. I'm number 20. My name is Art Crummer. I'm going to read 2 poems. They take about 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So if you can bear with me that long. Thanks, John. I assume your name is John. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry is named John. Leveling waves. My preteen daughter wades knee-deep, shivers, dives, then glides, her laughter swallowed by the waterfall's roar. Forming music foam, rainbow ripples. I tried to postpone this outing, but she held me to my promise. My mind is on my pressing work, Schrodinger wave collapse algorithms. Submerged in quantum physics, I briefly forget my child who drew perfect ponies, read with me Goodnight Moon, Night Kitchen, Knock Knock Jokes, Nancy Drew, Calvin and Hobbes, Harry Potter. I raise my gaze to the pulsing surface, seeking my happy pixie. Eyes wide, I cast about. She is gone. I leap over rocks and sand, dashing, diving, screaming her name. A child woman breaks the surface, slings her hair and showers me, sees my face, my fearful eyes. Her smile fades. There you are, I gasp, trying to laugh. Her eyes narrow, lips purse, hands on hips. Oh, Daddy. She splashes me, then plunges into the flow. She surges in the churning current, converging little girl to young woman, long locks waving in the stream. Her slow motion strands defy every equation, theorem, algorithm. I shudder in the shallow shadows. Her gliding grace levels every lemma, premise, and promise, dispels every proposition, every projection, fear, and fare thee well with a wave. On the warm ride home, Far Side cartoons she reads to me from her new position in the front seat. Thanks, Bill. It was a moment. To the poets, to make much of time. Pity those who die, their poems still inside. The songs of their soul never placed on parchment's inky terrain or the ears of others' hearts. May the music of your body pulsate from your core, vibrate the space around you and massage all whom you meet. On cold, dark nights, warm the roots of loved ones then. May those in your family circle who have not truly seen you know your heart's striving, grasp your fears, vulnerability, and your openness. Take in your true words and blow through the chaff, cut to fidelity's essence with the devotion of a sharp knife. Make a clean break when needed, or melt hearts, open eyes, and rest quietly in the silence of the knowing that we are all alike. May melody like a chariot carry passions with us on the way to our graves. Give comfort, dear poets, where comfort needed. You are my therapist, my band, my symphony, my audience, transcending terrestrial thought. Your silent reception comforts me, supports me, and gratitude is my music. Take comfort where comfort needed. Carry melody gravely, joyously on our way back home. Pity those who die, their poems still inside. I was number 20, 21 next.
Wow, y'all are still here. We've had some really good poets. My name's Amira. I'm 21, and I'm reading a poem called "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised." And it was inspired by, obviously, Gil Scott-Heron. You know, don't get your hopes up. It's not as good as his, but, you know. But he inspired me, even from the grave. The revolution will not be televised, but wait for it, it'll be on TikTok. You'll be able to watch the revolution unfold in 11 seconds. The revolution will not be televised, but wait for it, it'll be broadcast via instant Snapchat. Get your phones charged, people. You don't want it to run out of juice and die before viewing the entire revolution on your smart device. The revolution will not be televised, but wait for it, it'll be aired on Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, and Amazon Prime. You better pay your fee or share someone's password if you want to be in the know. Only the woke will have access. The revolution will not be televised, but wait for it. That's right, wait for it. Sit in your perfectly manicured yoga pose and wait. Do nothing. Say nothing. Watch your colleagues be disrespected and be silent. Totally silent. Wait. Just wait. You got time, right? The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. It will not be on the tell lie vision. It's up to you to tell the lie to yourself. Your vision need not be blurred by the waves the TV emits. Instead, forget emit. Until the soil of your ancestors with hate speech that is camouflaged as a dressed up version of lemonade because you somehow forgot that sugar can't mask or overpower sour. The revolution will begin just as evolution started. The revolting truth of reality that you can no longer ignore will agitate you. You will wake up to the truth that white lies kill and black lives only matter for sound bites. You'll understand that Sankofa is a bird that has planted her seeds in your heart. You'll know that God is beauty, wisdom, and strength intertwined in a knot that is as kinky and as powerful as your hair, you brown-skinned beauty. The revolution begins with you evolving from me thinking to we thinking, when you know that regret is the price of not being disciplined. The revolution is the evolution of your mind, when you know that space is everywhere. You don't need something you can't have. You have what you need. Your breath is enough. Your ingenuity is enough. Your love, your joy, your peace is enough. The revolution begins when you and I know that an earthworm's life is as important as an elephant's tusk, and both are worth more than a Range Rover. The revolution began when the driving range and the shooting range became more important than the homeless man on the corner. I wish the revolution wasn't being televised, but these lies are telling me to be the roar in terms of money. But time is not money. Money could cost you time, but time is a precious commodity that you just can't get back. The only solace is knowing that Sankofa is a bird that plants her feet in the ground and she learns from the past and she looks ahead to the new tomorrow. It's time to start a revolution. Let's tell the viewers our truth. Thank you. That's right. Oh, yeah. So I drove up here from Ocala, and we have a group called Spoken Word Ocala. And on Tuesday, the 17th, we're going to be having a pretty big event. It's only $5. Say only $5. Only $5. So you can go online and get a ticket, and we'll have some refreshments. Stan is going to be one of the featured poets. I'll be one of the featured poets. Pam, who you heard earlier, number 5, she'll be one of the featured poets. I'm hoping Majida is going to be on the list, maybe. But we have lots of poets and some snacks and refreshments. It's at the MCA Gallery, and I know you all heard about the big cut to funding for the arts. So the money we raise is basically for the arts specifically in Ocala. But yeah, so if you're interested, the Facebook group is called Spoken Word Ocala. You can look me up too, Professor Amira Sims. I will share the flyer with you. But yeah, come out Tuesday, 17th.
What number were you? Okay. We're getting close. We have a few more poets. Want to make an announcement. We have a representative from the University of Florida Health Cancer Center, Miss Jackie. I do a lot of work with UF Health Cancer Center. I'm on their community advisory board, and I'm also on their external advisory board. The UF Health Cancer Center recently attained their NCI designation, so that's a big achievement. So wanted to make sure that you knew Miss Jackie was back there. She has information. If you want information about the UF Health Cancer Center, she's back there in the corner over there, and she has some handouts and some stuff. So see her before you go on your way out. Thank you. We also have books. Some of the authors have books on this back table here. I have a book. My book is $10. It's the Hip Hop is Dead, Long Live Hip Hop, The Birth, Death, and Resurrection of Hip Hop Activism. You can either give me $10 or you can donate $10 to ArtSpeaks, and you can get a book. Cool. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. That's a little better. My name is Tori, and I am number 22. I wrote this poem, I recited this poem at a wedding for a dear relative of mine. So I hope that if you are married or you think about getting married, it might conjure up some memories during that day when you were standing at the altar or wherever you got married. And speaking of relatives, my dear cousin here, Mr. Richardson here, we grew up in the same little hometown. Amen.
We're cousins. All our people from Bland, Florida. You don't know where Bland
Amen.
is?
Mhm. Thank you, sir. I have seen the sun prepare its bed by the Singapore Sea, and I have hiked the hills of the Himalayas in Kathmandu. But the compass of my conscience and the GPS of my heart always kept redirecting, kept rerouting, kept recalculating all of my travels back to a destination called you. I do not possess kingdoms or cars or wear the fine apparel of presidents, nor do I speak with a powerful and persuasive pitch. But the treasure I have found in you has given me a forever fortune, because the substance of your love has made me eternally rich. To have and to hold, to relish and to cherish in sickness and in health, this sacred pledge, this promise, this vow to you, from it I will never relinquish. For I am consumed by your desire, for you have ignited my love fire, whereby only the curtains of death could extinguish. So as we prepare to walk down this passageway of partnership, you have become my confidant, my strength, my priest, and my best friend. Your love magnifies, sanctifies, purifies the very essence of my soul, like Jesus Christ's crucifixion achieved for the remission of sin. The foundation of a marriage is love, but it is sustained by service and sacrifice. We know that love is patient, love is truthful, and love is kind. For whatever union God has truly brought together, no man, no woman, no circumstance can separate or unbind. You see, the institution of black love has endured the generational bondage of slavery. Yet today you are shackled and chained together morally and spiritually by the freedom of your faith and fidelity. So may this marriage represent and symbolize the harmony that of two fine-tuned instruments as you live and dance to the sweet symphonic sounds of a beautiful black matrimonial melody. You see, the perception of marriage is not based on fantasy, reality TV, or a soap opera. But I believe today you could be very well be to each other your very own personal superhero. I pray this marriage will continue to defend and practice the character, the customs, and the tradition of black love as you celebrate and educate, advocate, facilitate for the proliferation and of the emancipation and the existence of the Negro. You see, God is the sole undisputed author of our lives. For he has written an intriguing book about your most intimate and exclusive love story. Therefore, may your reading give you wisdom and revelation for this, that this partnership should be a reflection of his light as you live out each chapter of your lives, giving him all the praise and all the glory. So today, as you stand in the presence of the Lord and before the clouds of witnesses, may this marriage feast upon the essential ingredients, integrity, and trust that should give it longevity and life. Therefore, let the execution of his consecrated contract of commitment be full of blessings and marital bliss as the two of you submit to one another and become one as husband and as wife. Thank you.
How is everyone? My name is Jabaya Dragonson, and I hail out of Detroit, Michigan, born and raised in Philadelphia. I've been writing in my head all my life, but I didn't start writing until the middle 80s. I'm dyslexic. I turn messages around, letters around, words around, numbers around. I turn everything around. But one thing I don't turn around, and that's my love for poetry. I was mentored by some people that some of you may know, Sonia Sanchez, and a bunch of folks out of Philadelphia, and then in Detroit, where I met poets, writers, artists, and they brought me to a part of poetry that really became me, because in Detroit, I found my own voice. I was no longer mimicking Maya Angelou or Langston Hughes or any of the greats. It doesn't matter if it was Ginsberg or whoever. I no longer have to mimic their voice. So I'm going to read this first poem. The young lady, the professor that read the poem, that was kind of political. I wrote this when they dropped the bombs on Move in Philadelphia in the 80s. I was working for the Philadelphia Tribune as a freelance photographer, and I worked with Jack Franklin. And this is what I got from the Move bombing. Under a melting sky. Under a melting sky. When the bombs dropped on Move, there was a melting of evil worldwide that burned like hell-based fire in America, and the boys proclaim open, 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 open season on black people's safety. The pursuit of happiness is just a word. Under a melting sky, the sun falls slow in the minds of men. The cross has no meaning, and injustice has found a home with men who whitewash the truth, the truth, the truth, the truth, the truth, and whitewash the truth out of everything. Under a melting sky, it's melted. The justice of injustice has melted and oozes out of evil closets. Yes, the injustice of government is open. Its colors does not matter. Color never matter. Evil seeks, evil seeps, evil always seeps in. Melted is the pain of those who sit as political prisoners. Melted are the screams of 11 children who are bombed that were damned to haunt Osage Avenue for now and forever, and cries of ghostly songs, brotherly love, brotherly love, brotherly love, brotherly love is dead. Melted. In Philadelphia, thoughts of children dead, burned to death. Melted in the minds of some. Brain dead Philadelphians. Thoughtless citizens just want to get back. Get back to business as usual under a melting sky. This is please forgive me, I'm very dyslexic, and I haven't read in years. I think the last time I read was like it wasn't even an open reading, it was a paid reading, and it was packed, and I won't forget it, because what I want to leave with you is not just my words, but my essence, who I am, and what we are. Okay, here's a poem that I wrote for a collection called, do I have time? This is a poem I wrote for a collection of poems called Behind the Mask. It's a collection of love poems that I started, I think, in 1971, and it is about 130, 40 pages. And I found a publisher last week, so it'll be coming out. How many people have lived in big cities before? How many people have done the mass transit thing before? How many people have been on a bus or a subway or anything like that? And oh my God, he or she is just so beautiful. And they get off and you never see them again. Because big cities are so huge, you never see the same people twice usually. Mass transit romance. My eyes burned with lust when she boarded the bus. Public transit lust. Striking, ripping through my mind with complex thoughts of sexual bliss, pure lust. My mind raced, kissed her from head to head till you know what's in between head and toe. Then kissing stopped. Then kissing stopped till she noticed my eyes, and my eyes were dripping with water. I lust for her from my eyes. My eyes burned with passion, my mind filled with smoke, smothered from the heat of want and animal lust. She looked up, looked in my direction lustfully. We became one, loving, ripping through each other, legs and arms wrapped, embraced in each other in a place of worn Caribbean sands that ran through our minds, down our bodies, touching us in places that I dare not explain in words of muse. Passengers moved from side to side, getting out of our way as we touched and prodded and loved and touched and prodded and loved. Women covered their children's eyes, and the driver kept looking back through the mirror and thinking, what are they doing? What are they doing on my bus? Well, time passed and passengers got off and on, and then suddenly I found my head leaned up against a window, feeling like I came from a dream, and I looked over my shoulder as I saw her signaling the driver to get off at her stop. Middle door open, she disappeared into the crowds of the big city, and I gasped. 2 stops later, I signaled the driver, walked off of the bus, walked over to my place of employment, opened the door as usual. My secretary sits there as usual. Good morning, Mr. Dragonson. And I'm like, good morning, darling. Grand rising to you, as I drop my hat to look under her desk as usual. I walked into my office and prepared to light a cig. And as I did, I reached into my pocket and saw a business card. And it said, this is not just a dream, darling. Call me. I will be home. 313-452-6969. Thank you. And if anyone here whatsoever, I'm Jabaya Dragonson, if anyone here whatsoever has information on any poetry readings throughout Florida, especially here in Alachua County, Ocala, Florida, where I just moved from, could you please give me your information? I want to read again.
Okay, so I was not originally planning to bring my daughter to today's poetry reading. She has a stage name. She goes by the Annihilator. Her name is Anaya. So a short background on me. My name is Tila. I am 25. And when I was 20, I got custody of my little sister because my parents were not the best. So I ultimately have been writing since I was in 2nd grade, but I've been writing poetry since I got custody of my little sister. She's turning 18 this year. So I wrote a poem for my daughter, really, because I got so much parenting experience from my sister. And I wanted to be better for my daughter than my parents were for us. And it means so much to me to have her here, to read about her, and then for her just to be here. So in that spirit, please don't grab the mic, little one. I am going to be reading a poem called "Give Mama a Hug," which I have read at our Poe Jam on Thursdays before, but I'm going to read it for you tonight. I knew since the day my daughter was born, I'd rip out the throat of anyone who dared hurt her. But it wasn't until she became deathly ill that it made me want to do more than just protect her. I wanted to give everything to her. I want her to see the mountains of the Shenandoah Valley or sit in the cliff trees of Bell Mountain. I want her to sit on the bench at the top of Big Spy Mountain and breathe the fresh air of forests barely touched and walk along the walls of Raven's Roost overlook. I want her to see the mountains the most, can you tell? To swim in the oceans, to glide through the air and swim deep in the sea through shipwrecks and stingrays on camelback and see the 13,000 miles of the Great Wall that spans from the hay thicket to the blocks of cinder. To lay eyes on everything I'll never get to see in a life of experiences I'll never have. Humans are experiences. The meaning of life is experience, and if I can't do it, I'll give my all to make sure that she can. To do everything in my power to help her be the most well-rounded being, not so other people find her pleasurable, but so she can find herself pleasurable. I don't want her to hate herself before she even knows who she is. I don't want her to hate life before she even gets to live. I don't want her to hate the world before she gets to see it. I don't want my daughter, my one true, irreplaceable love in this world, to hate before she ever knows what love is. I want her to experience. I want her to be an experience. I want her to live a life so full of everything I'll never have, of everything I'll never see, of everyone I'll never be. I want her to die at an old age with no regrets, with no hate for anything but hate itself. I want her to love me, but not enough to give up a life of experiences. I want her to love me enough to send a postcard from Africa, to send a necklace with the sands of the South American coasts, love me enough to write letters in French and send candies from all the Asian countries. I want her to love me enough to leave me behind, be her own person, and have her own experiences, but always come back in one way or another to give Mama a hug. Thank you.
I'm number 25. My name is Bruce Frendall. I have a stage name of the Naked Poet, but there will be no nudity here tonight.
Awesome! Thank God! Keep it on!
61 years ago, my 6th grade teacher gave us all the assignment to write a poem about Christmas, and I did that, and I still have that actual sheet at home. In 11th grade, my teacher made us write in a journal every day, and I started writing poems about a girl that I liked. And here I am, 10 years ago, back into Gainesville again, and I've written about 300 poems, and about 80 of them are unfinished, so now I'm gonna finish those poems, Art. I perform twice a week, once at Poetry Jam on Thursday nights at Civic Media Center, and the other at Tom Miller's show at University Club on Monday nights. When I get the chance to say to young poets, a lot of times at Poe Jam, they just want to get up and read their poem as fast as possible and sit back down, okay? And I say to them when I get a chance, I say, get up there, take a deep breath, take your time. You know, words are all you have to get what's in here out to your audience out there. All right, with that all said, I'm going to read you some poems, and at Poe Jam we give a trigger warning for difficult subjects that might be emotional. So I'm giving you a trigger warning. I'm going to have poems about immigration, about depression, homelessness, and school violence. This is called The Wall. There's a wall in D.C., it's V-shaped and got names, each name a body and soul. Count 58,000 on the wall, representing blood, sweat, toil, tears. Deadly struggle for too many years. Ultimate sacrifice, so they say. Loved ones mourn them every damn day. Yeah, the wall. Now there's another wall, further south, way south, south to the border. A wall built with money meant to defend America, a nation of immigrants. Immigrants like those trying to get to cross that border, the border where the wall is, the wall meant to keep immigrants out. Immigrants like all Americans, the wall. This is called Rain is Falling on Her Life. Half a world away, never saw her face. 21, and to her, life means nothing. Days pass away, nights take flight. Minutes tick quick, doesn't matter. The silent, secret killer cripples you inside. It's the one no one ever talks about. Keep it locked behind closed doors, never let it out. But it's out, and it's all around. See it, understand it, face it. It engulfs her, half a world away, threatens her existence, makes her hate life. It's real, it's a fact. It ain't going away. Face it, accept it, fight it, defeat it. Rain is falling on her life. This is called Broken Glass. Life turned hard in a hurry. John seeking work, Courtney carrying child, nowhere to go, nowhere to stay, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Drifting here and there, just clothes on their backs and love in their hearts, desperate for help, clinging to faith, hanging on to hope, which was fading fast. Taking turns holding a sign, wondering how they got there and how in hell they would ever get out. People are cruel and heartless. This pregnant homeless woman, targeted by a passing vehicle, rock thrown in her direction, breaking their spirit for the day. God, in his infinite mercy, sent his angel to ease their pain, give them strength, help them cope till the sun rises and another day dawns. And last, I have grandkids that attend Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, if you remember what happened there a few years ago. This one's called Tears for Texas. This was composed in 8 minutes. Sometimes we all know that poems just kind of write themselves. Tears for Texas. School bell rang, kids in seats, teachers teaching, students learning. All is well until another bell that tolls. From nowhere he came, they say, and all were to blame that day. Bullets flying, children dying, teachers crying, police trying to get their act together. Meanwhile, bell tolls 19 times for unspeakable crime. Across America, all moms and dads incredibly sad and waiting for the other shoe to drop. All kids fearful. When will it be their turn? Now, no one has answers. All have questions. And another school day dawns. Thank you very much. Go Gators.
Am I the shortest person here today? Just pull it down. That'll be good. Yeah, great. Thank you. All right. So I'm Susan Mickleberry. I'm number 26. And number 27, get ready. So I'm often able to say when I get up to read, and now for something completely different. So this poem is called The Birds. My cat is chattering at the robins. Outside the window, they have swarmed with their booming songs into the yard, green from rain, and are scattering everywhere to delicate tree limbs, the feeder, porch roof, and skylights, skittering bird feet hopping on the roof. And they are feeding in the lawn, running and attacking with their little beaks. 50 or so swoop up from the azaleas and cherry laurels across the pale sky and white clouds as still more arrive. So quickly they swoop and swarm, and then most are gone as quickly as the changing light, leaving only a few stragglers behind to throw berries loudly on the porch roof. And Annabelle, the cross-eyed tabby, meowing and chattering, looks up, aroused, looking out through the glass from her own various perches at this startling phenomenon, the migratory birds. Her chatter, unexpected and thrilling, an echo of wildness in her homebound life. Each pounding of the berries on the metal rooftop alarms. She climbs up next to me in my book and lets me rub her neck, and the light changes again as the last straggler leaves, as all the molecules of dust calm, and even the squirrels and cardinals return. Life an intimate puzzle. And evening silence begins to approach, and life is all around us, as Annabelle and I look out the window and we wonder at it all. Thank you. So I just want to thank once again Stan and everybody that's been involved for making this happen. I mean, this is just amazing. Don't you agree? It's just like... So I just wanted to quickly say, I was reading from my book. It was published in February 2nd of this year. And so at my late age, I finally published a book. And it's called And Blackberries Grew Wild. And my name is Susan Mickelberry. And I do have some books with me tonight. I'm not set up at the table, but I can be. So thank you very much.
We brought visual aids. So I'm a digital artist, poet, visual artist, and a poem about 4 years ago that I wrote while living in Utah brought me to Florida. I wrote a poem about rosewood. It's in the back of this book. I'm going to make a shameless plug here for a minute for Lizzie Jenkins, who was here earlier. So she and this crazy Mormon guy from Utah ended up writing a book together. Stan wants you to walk around with that. So, this book is on Amazon. I think it's a number of places online. I think it's in a few local bookstores. Lizzie's Rosewood Race. While writing this story, which is kind of an allegory based on young Lizzie, 6 years old, walking down dirt roads in Archer on 300 acres that belonged to 18 black families. She walked 3 miles to and from school. And she had encounters, not always good encounters, with white folks. As she told me her story, this little book that we wrote together evolved. It just came out of many, many conversations, and it was a labor of love. So this poem that I'm going to read you ties into this image. Pamela, Lizzie, anyone who's been an advocate for change. We'll recognize some of this imagery with thanks to Banksy, by the way. Some of you are familiar with the artist Banksy. He inspired this, but it is my original art. Okay, sometimes she walks, sometimes she runs. She never stops, she's never done. Her journey is long and never ends. She's fighting for change. Her truth transcends. The scripts of men whose actions repress, she breaks the bonds, her truth expressed. From sister souls long since gone, she carries light for those yet to come. She falls at times in anguish strain, the journey fraught with sorrow and pain. But in dark times of doubt and grief, from heaven's clarion, she finds relief and presses on through blood and tears, her urgent cause transcending fears. Undeterred, she runs the race, head held high with noble grace. Her mission clear, the journey is on, bursting forth, hands clasp baton. To generations yet unborn, feet press forward in spite of thorns. Renewed of courage and seasoned wisdom, to legions of sisters, she shares her vision, so they, like her, can run the race. Higher powers define her place. Sometimes she walks, sometimes she runs. She'll never stop. She's just begun. As cheering crowds become distant voices in silent reverie, her soul rejoices. Her goal in sight, she runs towards the race itself, her great reward. Thank you. We were 27.
Okay, can you hear me okay? Hi, I'm Tanya. It's nice to meet you guys. A lot of beautiful poets today, and it's really nice to hear all you guys speak. This poem I'm going to read is called Divination. Okay. Spirit is running through her. The pains of the body she will endure. Spiritual alignment is secure. Mind, body, soul connected, not obscure. Her existence in this life is persistence. To reach a high of another kind, the universe she will find. Blending with the unknown, she will not compromise her integrity or take out a loan. She can't be sold or even told what love is or made into society's mold. The material may sparkle, but her world is matriarchal. Love is her center, the ethereal world her mentor. Emotional, spiritual, mental growth is worth more than all the cars, clothes, and jewelry found in a store. To herself she swore her intuition never to ignore. Feed her internal reservoir by searching the earth and all its corners to explore, so her heart's battery can restore and have her voice heard, her spirit roar. There is so much more to look for, so much more to be found. Don't waste your time, don't clown around. The meaning in your existence won't come through in your distance, but in your consistence, with your insistence for all that is true, real, genuine. Not compromise your integrity or feel hemmed in. Expect respect. Do not neglect your true needs and only focus on the news feeds. You are more than all those candy-coated people in magazines you find in a store. Exhibit your authenticity. Let it ring with its simplicity. Be faithful to your message's synchronicity. Find true love in yourself. Don't give up and put it away on a shelf. It needs sun and water to grow. Locking it away in a box covered in snow will only wilt and never glow. Feed your mind and soul and let yourself flow so that others can know your message. And stop listening to the talk show. Let it come out. Let it overflow. Be inspired by Henry David Thoreau. It's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see. Get down on bended knee and promise yourself to oversee the forever fascination that is all that is you and me. Reach your full potential, follow your North Star. Stay away from the empty-headed and the bar. Don't destroy your mind or let it scar. Feel the weight of the universe as you lightly traverse. You will find your way, I promise. That's what I say. Maybe not today, but make the effort and your light will shine. They will find you. They will see your sign because you didn't resign. Together you will entwine and you will reach the divine. And that's all. Thank you.
That was 29.
We have 30. One of the things that I've been trying to do since I founded ArtSpeaks was to, when I met my folks who embraced me at Civic Media Center, being from Alachua, I've always viewed the University of Florida as this wonderful place of resources. I'm far enough away from the university. You know, if I lived on maybe Pleasant Street or Fifth Avenue, I may have a different idea, a different relationship between the university. I may view them as this encroaching beast that's gobbling up my community. But being so far away in Alachua, my relationship is different. So I've always looked at the university as this place for resources. So when I founded ArtSpeaks and I was thinking about doing poetry in the community, my first thing was, let's go to the University of Florida in the English department. And I'm not sure if it was David or not, but someone said, no, we've tried that. They don't roll with us like that. It's kind of this elitist type of relationship normally you find in university cities between town and gown. So one of the things I've been trying to do since I founded ArtSpeaks was to bridge that divide. And one of the things I've been doing is partnering with university organizations, student organizations. So we have someone here who's with Living Poet Society, the Living Poet Society. We had our very, the longest running open mic, continuous running open mic in the world, in the entire universe. I'm channeling my inner Trump. In the entire universe, in all the galaxies, it's the biggest thing ever. There's nothing big as this. It is the longest running open mic in the entire Milky Way. It is at Thursday night Poetry Jam. So every Thursday night since God formed the foundations of the earth, it's been going on at the Civic Media Center. So we had our very first community. We have our Civic Media Center. What's the Civic Media Center's
400 South.
433 South Main Street.
433? South Main Street, 433 South Main Street, Gainesville, Florida. So we had our, when we started I founded our inaugural Bard and Broadside North Central Florida Poetry Festival. One of the things I wanted to do is have a community event. So the Harm Museum has been a true friend to us. So we host our very first Bard and Broadside Poetry Festival. We kicked it off at the Harm Museum with the community open mic, with the Civic Media Center, with university organizations like the Living Poet Society, the Open Mic, some others. And so we had that in the Harm Museum auditorium, along with their words on canvas, creative writing contest that's open to University of Florida and Santa Fe College students. So it's a beautiful, amazing event to have the community come together. And hopefully we can continue doing that. But here is
Tessney.
Living Poor Society, and thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me. Alrighty, so I'm kind of short. I'm gonna try to like bring this down somehow. All right, that's perfect. Can y'all hear me? Yep. So I like to tell my audience usually that I'm a spoken word poet, and because of that, I vibe off of the energy of my audience. So we're gonna try this again. How y'all doing tonight? Now y'all can do a little bit better. I want more energy. How y'all doing tonight? Okay. So my name is Tessney Lusant, aka Queen Nini. I'm a Haitian American spoken word poet. I've been writing poetry for 6 years. I think I heard someone Haitian in the crowd. Anyone Haitian? Yes, representing. All right, and I am also the president of the Living Poets Society, and it is a great honor of ours to collaborate with E. Stanley Richardson and in his event for today. So I have a poem titled I Miss You, and it's a poem that I wrote for my late cousin. Yesterday was actually her birthday, so if it is okay with you guys, I'd like to share this poem. All right. My heart feels for you. Not a day goes by that I don't think of you. Your smile, the way that your sunshine uplifted my soul, your presence made me feel a little bit more whole. Your black radiance illuminated your existence in general. The way that you shined as a jewel formed from pressure, you, of all people, deserved so much better. Your beauty, your pain, the essence of confidence that you gave. Just looking into your eyes, I knew that we could have conquered anything, an iconic duo, my other half. They say that opposites attract. You were the jelly to my peanut butter. You were the yin to my yang, and I don't know if I can find that again. 2 years, and it still hurts like yesterday. I really do wish that you could have stayed. A lot of things would have been different. A lot of things would have changed. But I guess God thought it would be better this way. Not a day goes by that I don't think of you. Our adventures, our interactions, and our arguments too. I wonder if I could have done anything different to make you stay. But what's done is done at the end of the day. You never know what you have until it's finally gone, just a sad tune to my melancholy song. But I did want to thank you for giving me confidence. Showed me how to stand my ground even when I was uncomfortable. I thank you for taking the time to getting to know me. And I thank you for the love that you did show me. I wish that we could have grown, but life continues even while you are gone. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if you stayed. I wouldn't have gone through all this pain, but then again, no pain, no gain. So I wouldn't have gone through this growth that I sustained. I guess what I'm trying to say is I just miss you. And I think about you every day. Your absence left a hole in my life that only God was able to renovate. And this is not the usual type of love poem that I write, because usually I'd wish the other side happiness or pain, but in this case, you can't feel anything. Nonetheless, I'd wish you happiness 1,000 times infinity if that meant I got to see you again. But this is just how it had to happen. And I'm okay with that now. I just thought that I should let you know that I miss you, and not a day goes by that I don't think of you. Thank you.
Don't leave, don't leave. We want to get a picture, a group photo. Anybody in the audience wants to share a poem, a story, anything? Now is the time. Speak now or forever. Oh, here we go. Again, do not leave. We want to take a picture before everybody goes.
How are you doing,
You
Mike?
gotta go, Amira. I'm sorry.
Are you good, brother?
I got you on both.
My name is Jared Folds. I've always wrote poetry It's really been how I've coped with a very traumatic childhood. The two poems I'm gonna recite tonight, first is Texas-sized Thoughts, and then I'm gonna perform another poem dedicated to my mother. All right, here we go. Be water so the frequencies will make you do it. No more broken mirrors when you take me through it. If you really cared, you wouldn't do it. Run my hands through my hair and try not to lose it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Only a gift in how you use it. Only legit if you prove it. So if I'm clueless, then you're foolish. Just a player, never claimed to be the coolest. Just a man that could do more with less and sees less and more. So if I already know, then what's the lesson for? You know my values, why you question yours? From something came nothing, so I've done shows with less support. Disconnect from the source, and from the last came forth a new standard of living. To breathe the breath of every vision, accept provisions that redefine the description of these recessive conditions. Never short of a mission, just step back and regain your position. We the same, why I feel so different. And I'm devastated, never knew love was an option. Live life, don't get caught watching. Seen through the tears and they taste like whiskey. Chill with ginger ale, really can't be picky when you have the heart of a hippie. My thoughts are like Texas and they often have a message. I wonder if you catch them, if you ever learn my lessons. My girlfriend say I'm selfish, she always feel neglected. It's hard to stop stressing when you never been respected. My thoughts are like Texas. This poem is dedicated to my mother. She passed away in 2005. I knew a whale named Dale. Think about it, it's hard in hell. Such a beautiful gal. With a closet boneyard so scarred cause of past, see? She had a daddy that couldn't be a daddy, so the only daddy that she knew was touching no-no places, and her mama knew. When Dale broke loose, her mama acted like she didn't have a clue, then blamed it on who? No, really, guess who? I knew a whale named Dale. You couldn't weigh her on a scale. Emancipated at the age of 12, dropped to her knees to pray for help, getting through hell, and a little direction on the way, and maybe a man that would just love her one day, treat her pretty like the models on the runways, and go to church on Sundays. Yeah, mama, maybe one day. To 4 kids, she was a full-time mom and a dad. To pastime she had 2 jobs and in school, she never missed a class. In the story, I'm supporting Cass. When I was little, she said she loved us. We was all she had. I never really understood the extent of that. Now looking back, as we grew, she was all I knew. I found loyalty in the struggle and the humbleness only found by few through every dispute and family feud. This is real chicken noodle soup. No soda on the side. She was even colder when she died. So I guess she transcended them lies. Word to the wise. This story's about life, and I felt all of that. Took the brunt, chewed it up, that's why I spit this rap. Dwelling on the past, the pain don't last, that's why we grew up so fast. Mama, I wish I could have gave you everything and all the love that you needed when you was tripping and heated. I understood all the ways you was treated. I wish watching Mike Jack, I was big enough to tell them suckers to beat it. Got your cake but couldn't eat it, like take it or leave it. I wish this was a screenplay, so they bust to be erased or deleted, cause through it all, they was never really needed. Just extras on the scene, falling for men. For relationships, she was a fiend. On her own, she could have done more. All alone, she was a queen. She died one night, she came to me in a dream. We talked for hours and I held her in my arms like a child, like she did me when I was a child. Then she looked in my eyes and smiled and said, baby, everything will be okay. I knew a whale named Dale. Think about it, it's hard in hell. Such a beautiful gal. Thank you.
This concludes our 12th annual Art Speaks, bringing poetry and people together.